we wanted to feature obviously the stretch of the last few weeks. We shifted our focus a little away from sports, trying to feature some great things going on in the community, and fortunately we've been able to do that each week, and this week is no different. Um, got a friend from Phoenix Children's Hospital, the Animal Assisted Therapy Program. Mary Lou Jennings is on the line with us. Mary Lou, good morning.
Good morning, Vince.
How are you? James and
I'm
Vince here.
great.
How's it going?
Good to talk to you, James and Vince.
Great. Thank you for joining us. So,
Great to talk to
tell
you.
us,
Thanks for joining us.
yeah, tell us a little bit about the Animal Assisted Therapy Program out at PCH. Now, animal is in different breeds. It's not just something with dogs. I mean, what exactly? What do you guys do? How long has it been around?
It's been around for about 25 years, but we do mostly dogs, and we take animals to interact with the kids in order to help them accomplish whatever treatment goal their doctor, nurse, or therapist might want them to do. We also do a lot of fun stuff just for the kids who are missing their dogs, too. But we have cats, and in the past we have had rabbits, so we try to be all breed.
So you mentioned cats. Forgive me for saying this to all the cat people out there. I'm not much of a cat person, but what do you do with cats? Because they just kind of ignore people.
Yeah, it has to be a very special cat to be a therapy
Okay.
cat. They have to be a lot more dog-like. So they have to be interested in interacting with people and like traveling in the car, because a lot of kids can't handle that. But we have a lot of kids in the hospital who are not dog people, and it just doesn't do it for them. And so when we have Roger the cat come and visit, I tell you, we can't get him out of the hospital. Every kid, that misses their cat is like, please, can I meet Roger? And he hangs out on their bed, and he walks around and purrs at them. All they have to do is touch him, and he purrs. And we don't really know exactly what the scientific response to purring is, but we do think that there's some benefit to that. So Roger just loves interacting with different kids. He'll do 15, 20 kids in 1 2-hour visit. So he's very popular.
Roger's the magic cat, huh? Over there at PCH. That's fantastic. Talk a little bit about how it is to see a child that's in there. They're at Phoenix Children's. They've had a really rough day, and then they get a visit from one of these animals, and how do they just light up?
It's amazing to see what the parents' response is in addition to the kids. So the kids are feeling crummy. They wouldn't be in the hospital if they weren't feeling crummy. And so when we get a dog to come in, it usually is surprise at first. And then they're like, oh, cool, let me have the dog in here. So then we get to talk to them a little bit about their dogs at home and their experience outside the hospital, and give them a 5 to 10 minute vacation from what they're experiencing in the hospital. And if we can, we're working with the doctors and the nurses, child life specialists, therapists to say, okay, what is it that this kid needs to do that he's having a hard time doing? Maybe he needs to get up out of bed, or he has to start moving around more because he's recovering from surgery, or maybe it's just we need to get him to open his eyes and start responding to people. And so if we bring a dog in, we can get that accomplished a lot quicker than if you just are encouraging kid to do something.
What does it take to be a volunteer in this program? Now, I got an email yesterday from one of your volunteers, Carol, and she sent me a link to a video. It was pretty cool. So, Carol, if you're listening, good morning, and thank you for that video on a parade in Sun City Grand. And people with signs, holding up signs for the kids. But what does it take for somebody to get involved?
So, some of our great fans like Carol and Nicole Bidwell are members of our therapy dog program, and they have had to do a lot of work with their dogs in order to get them ready for this. So there's training that they would be doing it just to have a well-behaved dog, and then you have to go a few steps beyond that, and you have to have a very responsive dog. They have to pay attention to you and know exactly what you're asking them to do, and to do it very quickly, so that if you want them to lay down, it needs to be right now. And if you want them to come away from that machine, it needs to be right now, and not eat that treat that's on the floor because it might be a pill. So they have to be very, very responsive to you, but then they have to be very interested in interacting with strangers. So a lot of animals aren't interested in that. So those two qualities are key, and then they go through a very rigorous training and evaluation process. So all of our volunteers have taken their dogs through a therapy dog evaluation through one of several national therapy dog organizations. And it's a pretty rigorous test. In most cases, it's about a half an hour to an hour test where they run them through a lot of drills. And they have to not spook and not get frightened and not get aggressive, of course. And they just have to be very responsive to their people. And so it's a lot for them to go through that. And once they've accomplished that, then I ask them to go out and get some experience in a calm hospital setting or a calm therapy animal settings like a school or a library, and have them do that for 6 months to a year before I let them into the hospital. And then I do some additional testing with them in a hospital setting to make sure that that dog is going to respond appropriately, or that cat is going to respond appropriately in our environment, and not be frightened and not be overly assertive or aggressive, and not spook about things, because we don't want them to jostle the bed if they get spooked by somebody coming in or a hospital equipment that starts to beep. They have to be very calm and responsive that way.
So it seems, Mary Lou, that for someone to volunteer an animal, it's kind of like a lifetime commitment. And do you have anyone that might, volunteer an animal and get them trained up and ready to go on this sort of mission, and then they say, "Wow, I want to do this again. I have another animal I'd like to bring into this program."
Oh my gosh, yes, I have. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of volunteers who are with us forever. So, like right now, we're doing virtual pet therapy for our kids, and so I have a lot of our volunteers who are helping me with that. And one of the volunteers I was with just the other day, Diana, she is on her 5th therapy dog, so she's been volunteering with us for over 16 years. And she brings every dog that she gets, she trains them, and if they are going to be appropriate for a hospital, she brings them in. If they're not, she doesn't. But she's now on her 6th dog, so a lot of our volunteers have continued to bring their dogs in. So Nicole Bidwell brought in Barney, who was a pretty famous Cardinals dog, and when Barney passed, she got her next dog. And Hank, the English Mastiff, is now coming, and her little puggle, Hercules, is also coming. So, yeah, our volunteers stick with it. It's one of their hobbies. It's their little sports on the side.
Mary Lou, what's the most obscure animal that participates in this program? And it's some that might be considered unconventional or something as a domestic pet.
So we don't have anything other than dogs, cats, or rabbits in our program. But you will see therapy animal programs across the country that have a lot of other kinds of animals. Pet Partners is an organization that will register a lot of different kinds of therapy animals, like llamas and goats and pigs, ferrets, and all kinds of other critters can be therapy animals in the right setting. And in the hospital setting, we have to be careful for infection control reasons about some animals, but we do see a lot of those animals having really great therapeutic benefit. There's even a therapy bird in Arizona that does a lot of work. So you can, for the right person, some dogs don't cut it, and so a lot of people can have a therapeutic response to a lot of different kinds of animals, and we show that with research. So some research that we've even done at the hospital. You there, Vince?
Mary Lou, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. You're involved with the Animal Assisted Therapy Program there at Phoenix Children's Hospital. It's a great thing that you're doing there for those kids, and being able to light up their day and just bring them a little bit of joy, even if, as you mentioned, only just for a minute or two. Thank you again for joining us, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was wonderful to be with you guys.
Thank you. Have a great day and a great rest of your weekend. Everybody stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Miss Brittany Boyer of the Plug Sports Connection, and we're going to talk about a recent transfer to the Arizona State University basketball program when we come back here on the JV Sports Show. Stay tuned.
Big show.
It has, Vince. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Can't wait. Go, JV.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, this is Coach Rick Garrettson.
And Wendy Garrettson of Arizona State Football Champion Chandler High Wolves. And you're listening to the JV Sports Show. Go Wolves!
Anna and Keith started